Hyde. This is his last chance of glory. Between glory, Herbie Hyde. At stake, the WBA Continental Heavyweight title. Diaz or Herbie Hyde? That's the question, and that's next, live on Europe's #1 rated live boxing show here on Screen Sport, ProBox. And here is Juan Antonio Diaz from Argentina. Coming in tonight at 15 stone, 3 pounds and 12 ounces. And we await the arrival of the dancing destroyer, Herbie Hyde. Interestingly enough, in the crowd tonight, both Frank Bruno and Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis arousing enormous interest, of course. The WBC, there he is, the WBC heavyweight champion of the world. The first heavyweight champion Great Britain has had this century.
Yeah, and a class act. He's a great guy. Smashing fella, the greatest thing that's happened to boxing in this country. And they're taking a keen interest in Herbie Hyde, so obviously they want to see how good this guy, what his actual potential is.
Well, they got in the brass band. Let me remind you that Herbie Hyde is the current WBC International Heavyweight Champion. If he wins this title tonight, that'll make him a dual title holder. I'm not sure whether the WBC will insist he gives up their title or whether he will instantly relinquish the WBA title, but he will be gaining himself useful ranking points for both WBC and WBA. And Herbie comes into the one and only. The song made famous by Chesney Hawkes. Herbie nearly accounting for a security guard. There are the two belts. WBC on the left, WBA on the right. And is this man, I wonder, destined to become a heavyweight champion of the world? Wouldn't it be ironic, having had none for the best part of 100 years, if we suddenly found ourselves with 2 or even 3? We can't write off Bruno. So both men in the ring, and the belts are in the ring. All we need now is the announcement, the formalities from Alan Hughes. I tell you, we have 3 ringside judges and a British referee in the shape of Larry O'Connell. Judges Mickey Vann, Dave Paris, Roy Francis, all of Great Britain. And they will score the fight. 10 points to the winner of a round, 9 points or less to the loser.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now come to the main attraction of the evening, live from Brentwood's International Hall, promoted by Matchroom and sponsored by the Daily and Sunday Mirror newspapers. Your matchmaker for the contest, Frank Turner of London. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a heavyweight contest over 12 rounds, each of 3 minutes duration, for the WBA Continental Heavyweight Championship. Your judges for the contest are Roy Francis of Kent, Dave Paris of London, and Mickey Vann of Leeds. Your timekeeper, Danny Peacock of Epsom. Your WBA steward in charge is Thomas Hogan of Texas. And when the bell rings and the action begins, your referee for the contest, Larry O'Connell from Kent. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for some action? Presenting and introducing in the red corner with the whites and the blue shorts, with 9 wins from 10 contests, 7 inside the distance, and today weighing in at 15 stone, 3 pounds and 12 ounces, from Argentina, the reigning WBA Latin American champion and challenger for the title, Juan Antonio Diaz.
Looking at this guy, he looks certainly punchy around the middle and soft looking.
Coming out of the blue corner with the white and the red shorts, with a 100% record of 19 wins from 19 contests, all inside the distance, and weighing in at 14 stone 8 3/4 pound from Norwich, the undefeated WBA Continental Heavyweight Champion, Herbie the Duck Destroyer. Hi!
Well, thank you, Alan. Herbie, 19 fights, 19 wins, 19 stoppages, with his long-time trainer, Freddie King. Also in the hide corner, Jason King, Alex Gower. This is scheduled for 12. I have my doubts, Barry, whether it'll go the full trip.
And so have I, Dave. I mean, Hyde looks in magnificent condition, looks fabulous physique, whereas Juan Antonio's solar plexus are absolutely gone. He's a bit soft looking to say the least, and I've watched him in training. He looks a bit slow. So keep your eyes on this fight, folks. It may not last that long. The Argentinian is just sort of trying to size Hyde up. If he's anything like the lighter weights and the Argentinian lighter weight guys are as tough as nails, strong as horses, and always really fit. This guy, having a look, as I say, at his midsection, he doesn't look that well conditioned. But having said that, he won a silver medal in the World Seniors, so he's got to have a bit of talent.
Yeah, he fought Lennox Lewis as an amateur. Only lasted less than a round, in fact, but it still had the distinction of being in with Lewis.
Hyde in his last few fights has had to learn to be patient, particularly the one against Peterson, where he went into the 7th and 8th round, and he was on the floor ever so quickly, but he was up and he was hurt and up again instantaneously, but he was on the floor and he got up, and he had to be patient because Peterson turned out to be a really durable guy.
Peterson fought well, took him 7 rounds.
And he boxed brilliantly and ended up just beating all the resistance out of Peterson. Brilliant performance.
Two minutes gone in the first round. The thing about Hyde is the hands are so fast.
Good, tremendous hand speed for what you would have to say a smaller heavyweight. In present terms, the big guys are all weighing around 16 stone. He's weighing 14.8 tonight, so he's not the biggest, but he makes up for that in speed and agility.
And he's still growing, still only 21.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure that Lennox Lewis and Frank Bruno at ringside will be very interested in what they have to see.
No, for sure. Starting to plant some good right hands right under Diaz's heart, banging them into the solar plexus.
Well, I think we give that opening round to Hyde. I don't think there can be too much doubt about that. The Argentinian scarcely laid a glove on him. And we're with the Argentinian's corner now. No real great heavyweight tradition in Argentina. I know viewers with long memories might recall Luis Firpo, the wild bull of the Pampas, back in the late 30s.
Yeah, Hyde just picking him off here and trying to get through that sort of high guard that Diaz has, but he planted some beautiful right hands into the body and getting Diaz to drop the guard. I'm not really concerned too much about defence because this guy hasn't landed much. See that right hand just there? That Diaz was stumbling backwards, planted it right under the heart. Good right hand.
Second round of this WBA Continental Heavyweight title fight at Brentwood. David Brenner, Barry McGuigan with you live at ringside for Pro Box.
Yeah, Hyde's going to go to town now. He's just... You can actually see him feeling him out with the left hand, just keeping him at distance and then banging the right hand in. But he can't afford to be careless.
Looks strong, the Argentinian.
Yeah, he's a strong and durable looking
Low
guy.
centre of gravity.
No doubt about that. He'll be a tough guy. All the Argentinians are really strong and tough, certainly in the featherweights and the lightweight divisions. I don't know what the heavyweights are like. There hasn't, as you've seen, been a great history of heavyweights apart from Firpo. And that was yonks ago.
I would hasten to add, Barry and I are far too young to remember Louis Firpo.
Yes, we read the history books.
Good jab from the Argentinian. Caught Hyde flush on. Hyde really ran onto it.
Yeah, Hyde's getting a bit frustrated with Diaz's sort of long guard and awkwardness. He wants to take him out of there. He wants to look impressive in front of Lennox and in front of Frank Bruno.
Of course, Hyde has been getting a huge amount of media recognition. The thought that he might get a crack at Riddick Bowe. Of course, we've seen every single one of his 19 fights. So we know Herbie Hyde from days of old, but the rest of the world's starting to catch us up. And as you say, Barry, he desperately wants a good performance. Millions watching this worldwide on television.
Yeah, winning's
and of course
one
the
thing.
reigning world champion here too.
Winning's one thing, but he wants to look impressive in winning. Everybody wants to look good. You want to win this in style. And he's not too concerned about Diaz's punching power because he's not up on his toes at all. He's planted on the flats of his feet, which means he really wants to take him out of there. He wants to bang. He's using his upper body movement to pull back, but he's staying in punching range and he wants to bang those powerful shots right in.
Well, the only man to beat this Argentinian, the Brazilian Adilson Rodriguez. That was over 12 rounds on points in April of last year.
Yeah, Hyde can't afford to get careless, but I mean, this guy is not really a danger. He's just going to have to be patient with him and pick his shots a bit more. And there's some very hurtful shots landing in there.
Argentinian, 30 years of age, his last real chance of glory. Silver medalist at the 87 Pan American Games, bronze medalist at the 85 World Championships.
A couple of good shots here from Herbie. A little sort of a cuff around the side of the head, but at the end of the round he banged some real good shots right into the body. That one there, for example. He's got to be careful with those little cuffs coming back, but I mean, Diaz just doesn't really look to have any power at this stage. More concerned in defense.
Third round of this scheduled 12-rounder. I still don't think it'll go anywhere near 12. Argentinians' mind really at the moment set on survival. There's very little chance to show us what he can do.
A good left hook from Hyde. Hurt is a good solid left hook. And he's a good finisher, Hyde. He really wants to...
Down the left started it. There is a mandatory 8.
A right hand when he was on his knee there, but he's in big trouble here. There's lots of time left in the round, and Diaz is...
Yes, the right, down again.
That was more of a throw to the
Up
floor.
quickly.
I'm glad that
Larry O'Connell, well,